Hello, friends, and welcome. I want to say welcome to our new subscribers. We have been following Comet SOHO, and it's just about to come out of conjunction with the sun. So let's take a look and see what happens next. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at what God has to show for us in the Word. When I looked this morning, God took me to chapter 1 of Ezra, which is where Ezra is leading the first group of exiles back to their homeland from Babylon. I thought that was particularly pertinent. Jeremiah 23, actually verse 23, am I only a God nearby, declares the Lord, and not a God far away? Can anyone hide in secret places so that I cannot see him, declares the Lord? Do not I fill heaven and earth, declares the Lord? I have heard what the prophets say who prophesy lies in my name. They say, I had a dream, I had a dream. How long will this continue in the hearts of these lying prophets who prophesy the delusions of their own minds? They think the dreams they tell one another will make people forget my name. And that's the last portion I have underlined. We are at a time that, gosh, I could say so much. It's very crucial, and we need to look at a number of different places to try to decipher God's will. Please, please, please do not let anyone come between you and your relationship with God. Do not follow prophets. Do not follow the stars. Only get in God's word for your true foundation. Now, what we are looking at is what Jesus told us to look at, and that's the skies, the stars, the signs, the wonders, and the sun, moon, and stars, the signs in the heavens. But we complement that, well, we read the Bible and use it to complement what we read in the Bible. So that's why we always just start with scripture. Lots of people are using dreams and just going down emotional paths. And emotions are fine as long as they are tempered with facts and science. And for some reason, I just thought, I'd bring this down. This is my master's degree certificate in engineering. I don't study astrology. I don't know a thing about it. But I do study science. And when God called me to do this just a few months back, I knew that this was something that needed to be done now. I couldn't just wait for someone else to do it. So we're going to jump in and do pray over these words. Seek guidance in who you are following, because there's a lot of false prophets out there. We know that. A lot of them have music in the background, like it's some, emotional celebration. And it's like, get in the word. What's wrong with that? The Bible's got a lot to say too. And so do the stars. And that's part of the way that God conveys what he's about to do. So I can't believe that was the word we got. That was very intense. My computer is kind of freezing up on me a little bit, so I can't see my controls. Let's see if that changes anytime soon. But we are in Stellarium, and I'm gonna put my mouse in here. There we go. All right, so we're gonna turn our constellations on and our constellation art, and we're going to set this to, oh, there it goes again. We're going to set this to right now. There it goes. Okay. All right. So let's get the sun centered here. And SOHO is so close. It's right in the center of the sun. It's about to exit. And a lot of these things we are learning together. We're learning about the strength of the sun. And as it says in Revelation 116, let's read this together. Revelation 1:16, and he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp two-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. Now, we are going to do a video on how the horsemen, the signs, from the sixth seal and the rest of the book of the Revelations, the sixth chapter, I should say, how they interact with the sun, because it's very meaningful. We saw from the first horseman with the release of the worldwide pandemic that it wasn't all at once. It did happen gradually, but it was very forceful in its progression. The second horseman, Mars, has already gone into conjunction with the sun. And we can do this full screen as soon as I can find my mouse again. But it went into conjunction with the sun. It was called out a few months earlier and then went into conjunction with the sun. Okay, come on. Come on. There it goes. So we're going to do a study on that. As I've said in the past, I'm learning with you. I'm an engineer. I'm not an astrologist, but we're going to learn the signs in the heavens. We know that the ancients used those. Abraham, we see that in the book of Jasher with Joseph and his brothers. And we've got a video on that I can link below. But looking at today, the 21st of October, and SOHO is coming out of conjunction with the sun. It would have been great if this was a rapture sign. We were really hoping that it would be. However, we started seeing some other things that were quite surprising as well. And jumping back to the 17th, one of those things that we noticed was all the way over here when we were doing that video together. This guy showed up. I hadn't seen it before. Maybe some other channels had. It just hadn't presented itself on my desktop version of Stellarium, the online version. There are mobile versions that you can get on your phone that will have all the comments, but for some reason the desktop version is a little different. And I cannot search just by comments. So I've got to I can by asteroids, but not comets. So we looked up the number 22 and it meant unmarried, which was kind of a bummer. So the next question was, well, what, planetary body has the number for marriage? And the one that came up was Magnolia. And Magnolia is right nearby over here, right in the area of Spica, our little bouquet here with the wheat bundle. So Comet SOHO went all the way over here to the vicinity of Magnolia, past our unmarried comet, going toward our comet with the number of marriage. It's never been associated with marriage that I know of. This is a flower, Magnolia. The man who discovered this one just started naming asteroids after plants, and that's fine. But what we did find was that there was another, I'm going to zoom out, another planetary body that we have seen so many times. Our mountain asteroid, Vesta. And I say asteroid because this, let me get out of full screen. Most of our asteroids are, circling the Earth at regular intervals. Okay? The comets are the ones that, one moment. All right, so the comets are the ones that come out from, they have these irregular orbits, if you will, and then the asteroids are on the same ecliptic plane by and large as we are. So I'm not sure what the data is associated to this star map or this chart here exactly, but as you can see, for there to be, these asteroids, these comets, these markers, right where we need them to be so that we see them against the sun. They've got to be like right here. And there's like 340 or so degrees that, it would be much more likely for them to inhabit. But by God's grace, because we are looking at the signs and wonders in the sky, you know, the comet with the number 22 associated with it, Comet Cup. Also, cups are very important in Jewish weddings. Just saying that, spelled differently. It's somebody's last name, but it means cup. So just for that to line up, we've got that, and then we've got the one nearby, just really like this close, right, very close to each other. We've got one numbered for marriage. Now, the asteroid itself, Magnolia, is not associated with marriage. We've got to go just a little over here and find Vesta, and Vesta is associated with marriage. So let's jump back over to Stellarium. We're going to watch this play out, and I think that you're really going to be blessed. It's going to deal with, by the end of it, the incorporation of the third horseman. And we've talked about how the rapture comes before the famine, when there's eating and drinking. And according to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, before the rise of the Antichrist. So we're going to see all of that play out. Hold on to your hats. Let's go back into full screen. Okay, Comet SOHO. We're going to keep following this guy. And we've got Vesta down here. Keep that one in mind, the marriage asteroid. And let's keep going. So we're looking at tomorrow. SOHO is out of conjunction with the sun. Continuing on. Here we go. Oh, look at everybody's going to be conjuncting or in the vicinity of Vesta pretty soon. So we've got end of October. It could be that SOHO entered unmarried, got his marriage license, and then came out ready to settle down. How about that, ladies? And be married. I don't know. There's all sorts of ways to look at this, but we're going into the scales. If you have comments, please leave them below. A lot of people are saying the end of October is the last day of the Jewish summer, and so if there's going to be a festival day associated with the rapture, it's going to happen before then. Well, I got knocked so hard last year when I said anything about Halloween, rapture. No bitter feelings here, but just very interesting that people are saying that now. Anyway, let's continue. So we're in the scales. We've got Comet SOHO. We've got Vesta. Here comes the sun. And look out, Mercury's going to be here. Sorry about that. So Stellarium just kind of jumps around sometimes. So here comes Mercury. All right, and that is a fast-moving planet. So we've got the scales, we've got Mercury, we still have SOHO here in the picture, but the third horseman is about to go into the sun in the scales, and that's what we're looking for from chapter 6 of the book of Revelation. 342 SOHO is in Antares, the heart star from Scorpio, and Scorpio represents conflict. So this spoke volumes to me. We've got, the sun with the third horseman and a marriage asteroid. We've got SOHO still in the picture. I mean, still very close in conjunction, or close to being in conjunction with the sun. Not that the ancients could really see, what was comets were in conjunction with the sun because it was daylight. But the mathematicians would have been able to calculate these things. The astronomers or astrologers, however you want to look at it. Lots happening here. A lot happening. And it could be fulfilling some of the dreams that people have had of the rapture happening before the famine. It could be that war has started. We've got Mars in those scales as well. Mars is still in that vicinity. And we're going to do a study on, the ride of the horsemen and how, they are called out by a living creature, and then they go in conjunction with the sun, and, war's on the horizon. We all know that. We all know that. So things to pray about. Let's go ahead and get the Bible open. Lord, please show us marvelous things in your word. Matthew. Okay. Matthew 5. We've got a few things underlined here. Verse 25. Settle matters quickly with your adversary. That's all I've got underlined there. Jumping down to verse 27. You have heard that it was said, do not commit adultery, but I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown in hell. So what is God saying here? Okay, what did we just read at the opening of our study about false prophets? Okay, that's what God is conveying here. When I opened this, I was like, what? Whoops, this isn't right. But when we take it into context with what, we have previously looked at, the warnings, don't look at, astrology in the wrong way. Don't look at dreams in the wrong way. Always, always, always be grounded in the word. Always. We have time on this earth to make a difference. Okay. And I'm going to have in the notes section, there is a bill called the People's Ledger that is going to allow the IRS to have direct access into our bank accounts. It is heading toward the one world order. Please call your senators and your Congress member and tell them we don't want this. Okay. We are not here right now to just sit and watch for the rapture to happen. We are here to protect our families, to be voices for those who don't understand what's going on right now, okay? It's time to put petty teenage politics to the side and start living out our faith. Is Jesus real to you? Are the end times real to you? Then get to it. Get busy. I will have that linked below, and it's going to be by and large information from Israeli News Live. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I've already contacted my Congress members, and I challenge you to do the same. Have a wonderful day.